Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right. So I'm a little ahead of schedule here because Year of the Dragon is 2024, but of course, that doesn't actually begin until February the 10th this year. So with that in mind, just bear that in mind that I am kind of just wanting to celebrate a little bit early here. Um, if you read up on the Year of the Dragon, there's all kinds of different things to think about, but I always use my own interpretations. But I will say that depending on what source you read, it's either the year of the green wood dragon or the blue dragon or the multicolored dragon. But in general, it can be a year that is going to be devoted to action taking. Now, I associate dragons with dreams. This is a time of really like awesome energy. It's kind of like a year to get things done is maybe the simplest way to say that. And I'm sorry, my camera angle is really weird so that we don't miss out on seeing the dragon. So I know it looks like I'm looking off here. I have to remember to try to look there, but forgive me. I'm not going to be able to remember. It's just not my thing to look into cameras, period. So I hope you guys just let me roll with it the way it is. So happy new year, everybody. I hope that this year is beginning really, really well. We're going to start this storyline out, and these are the bonus general messages. I always like to start out with a real anecdote, something that actually happened, usually pertaining to my dog. Puppy has been, well, he was up a lot last night. He doesn't really enjoy all of the sounds of New Year's celebration, so that was kind of a big thing for Puppykins. He was up late, as was I. But then we had a really nice day, and it was. I would say it was a contemplative day. He was more peaceful. I was pretty peaceful. I made some Korean food. My bulgogi needs some work, but I'm getting better at it. And it was kind of like one of those times where, for me, when I start a new year, I like to kind of think about what I want to do in the new year, and so I took some time and just contemplated. And yeah, I feel really energized this year. So let's get started. We've got the 10 of Pentacles. It's one of my favorite 10 of Pentacles cards, also just because it's built on this stone lion. We've got so much success here. We've got like Leo energy on an earth card, right? 10 of Pentacles. Pentacles should denote the earth energies, but we've got this powerful, strong start. So if the energy begins this storyline with a character recognizing possibly just how much success they can muster this year, they really feel like they've got what it takes to it's almost like I pictured this as like a landmass that is suddenly emerging from the sea, and it turns out we've got this newfound island that's rising up and being jutted up into the sky, but the island is shaped like a lion's head. It feels like someone's going to rise up this year. They're going to have tremendous success. This could be monetary success, could be success in the anything that really is more tangible. I don't always look at a 10 of Pentacles as tangible things, but I do right now. With this 8 of Cups, we notice that a character they're walking away from something but carrying their memories with them, right? So a character that says, well, I'll take the lessons with me, but I'll leave the anything that was confining behind. You notice they've walked out of these gates, and we don't actually see where they came from. We assume, since these are big, luxurious looking gates, that maybe they had some mansion that they're leaving, but I don't see any mansion there. I don't see anything. I just see kind of a big flat landscape. And if that's just it, they said, I'll never make my fortune here. I'll never be able to make my happiness here. I'll never be able to have the love of a lifetime with a person that wasn't ever there. Maybe I had the plot of land, but she and I never built our mansion. And so I leave this behind and I move on. They do carry memories with them. And I kind of want to touch base on what those memories are really briefly, though. Only because that's where the benefit is. It's not in what they're leaving behind. It's the pieces that they choose to take with them. So I feel like that's an important message. 7 of Swords, and we've got a bit of like sorry, it's really hard for me to remember where to place cards, and my face when I have the camera tilted at such a funny angle. A 7 of Swords with a Robin Hood character, so we've got this element of a robber, right? And if one of the lessons that a character is taking with them, they're realizing, I've learned that sometimes people do steal my time, my valuable life force energy. And with that Ace of Wands in the reverse, they're also remembering that that's also what killed this relationship for them. I don't want to say that this is a character who is right now thinking about the negatives. They're thinking about the lessons that they learned and what has prompted them to move forward. And these are the exact things that are going to help them rise into this huge successful year. But what's interesting is the very valuable lessons that they are remembering as they move forward is do not engage with the people that are going to steal and rob your beautiful energy, the people that are going to lie to get what they want, the people that just want nights of passion. And it's like, had I known that's all they were after, I probably wouldn't have been, passionate about them, because I feel like this is a character who really values truthfulness and integrity. And I think the biggest lesson, they are walking away from a vacant space, a space where it could have, this could have been, oh, what is that song? Didn't we almost have it all? Is that Whitney Houston? The only thing is, I think in that song she says, I know I'll never love this way again. That's not the case for this character. This character is like, well, maybe that is the case. I'll never love this way again. The lie, the cheats, those things. I won't do that again. I'll do better for myself. I'll choose better. There was a beautiful landscape. We could have built a mansion. We could have had it all. Maybe someone didn't invest, but I'm leaving behind that vacant space that someone never invested with me. And it's such an important thing because this character has a tremendously successful year ahead for them. It's a year where I think this is going to be a year where a character achieves new levels of success that I don't think they've ever hit this level of wealth or this level of, oh my God. So we got the Empress. Yeah, this is definitely going to be a level that a character they've never experienced this kind of success, this kind of celebration, this sense of accomplishment. So it doesn't matter if this is a masculine or a feminine, it's just coming out as a feminine right now. This is a year of huge success. Okay, we have the Lovers card, and it is in the reverse. And then we have that Two of Pentacles. One of the other areas because remember, we're talking about success and what they choose to nurture. We have a character who is, I don't think that they're taking on any kind of a lover. I don't think that they're dealing with someone in this next year who may still be indecisive. I do think that this Empress is probably going to meet somebody like that, and they're going to be able to recognize that. They're going to use those lessons that they learned from the past. Sometimes somebody sees what they want and they want to be a robber. Oh, isn't that a Taylor Swift? Knew he was a robber first time that I saw him. I can't think of, I think it's Are You Ready for This? I think that's the song. Anyway, I feel like our Empress is going to fall back on those lessons. She's not going to deal with someone who is either too freshly out of a relationship and is looking for a rebound and is uncertain about where they're at. These are valuable lessons. This is what makes her the freaking Empress, because she says, I can see it. If I can sense and I can smell the indecisiveness on someone, my answer is a hard pass. This is the other thing. See, to be successful, it doesn't just mean that you do the thing that you're going to be good at. It means you don't invest in the place that isn't going to be successful. You don't bother to mess with the things that are just going to sap your strength, rob your energy, fill your life with indecisiveness. And I think that's what this message is really about. Queen of Swords is in the reverse. Six of Swords is upright. Hanged Man. She also is well aware that she's going to probably piss some people off this year. She's likely going to have people that don't like her very much this year, which is going to be ironic because in a year of this much success for someone, we would expect it to all be roses and rainbows. And it's not. This is a very realistic view of what, when a character starts to really choose themselves and choose how not to say yes to individuals who want things from them, but they themselves aren't sure about what they want to give in return, that's going to piss somebody off. They're, oh, she's mean. She's mean. You know what she said to me? She said, I can't have her if I don't really seem like I know what I want. That's mean. No, darling, that's not mean. She wasn't being mean. But this person, she might make somebody cry this year just because she points something out, and then they go away and they think about it for a while, and then they really reflect. She might be kind of giving people that tough love a little bit this year. One person in particular who wants to be her lover, and she says, no, you can't come in like this. You Maybe this is even somebody from the past who returns this year and says, I know in the past I maybe I chose somebody else, or I shouldn't have tried to choose you because I wasn't ready. But I'm not going to do that anymore. So now can't I come back? You know, I mean, maybe we could see if this could work now. They still come across as indecisive to me. They could be a Gemini. It doesn't have to be. They could also be an Earth sign. Doesn't have to be. But let me put it this way. They're a highly indecisive individual. And the fact that she says something that is cutting to them, which is the rejection aspect, because she tells them to move along, they don't like it. This is somebody who doesn't really want to. You notice how they're crying. Normally, Six of Swords would be a card of, like moving on from conflict and drama. This person is boo-hooing because they're mad that she said something that they view as mean. And then they get a chance to reflect on it. Piscean energy here. This is interesting because we're talking about an Empress's like year, or like I'll just say the next the way that her life starts to flow is an Empress's flow. An Empress's flow doesn't get broken by all the different people that will pop into her life and want something from her, because she has good boundaries. She's also really good at speaking truth instead of being indecisive, getting all caught up in her head. She makes decisions that are authentic. Doesn't mean an Empress can't make the wrong decision. Doesn't mean she can't be mean sometimes or petty. Come on, these characters are supposed to be, realistic characters that have all of the same flaws and capacity for human pettiness as anyone. But an Empress owns it a little bit more. But it's really interesting that whomever this character is who returns to her or expects that they should be able to have access to her, after they reflect on things for a while, they sit here as a King of Swords, but still only sideways. I think they were coming in to say, well, you know that you're meant for me, Empress, and you know that I'm meant for you. And the Empress was like, oh, hell to the no. That's definitely not the way this works. Because remember, once upon a time, we could have built it all, but instead you weren't truthful, and I lost passion because that lack of truth makes it really, it's an unattractive trait. And they think that that's mean that she said that to them. But as they think about it, they start to see things differently, but they're still only sideways. They're not 100% now. Two of Swords upright. So they're, even though she turns them down and says something true that makes them mad, they do think about it and they start to evaluate it, but there's still this thing that they refuse to see. What is the thing that they're still refusing to see? They're maturing. Their frustration is King of Coins in the reverse. The thing that they're still refusing to see is that they're not genuinely balanced. They don't like being told no, but they also don't like being called out for having been untruthful. And they also don't like being called out for the fact that they still don't come across as somebody who knows who they are. And that's the thing, that they don't see that in themselves. What do you mean? I know I wanted you. Yes, but why did you want me? It's not enough just to say, I want this. It's why do you want this? You've got to know the answer to that. Do you want to give to a connection? And especially the fact that they were so quick to be like, you're mean. To me, that kind of looks like someone who's not super mature yet. Let me get one more on them, and then I want to go back over to the Empress, because this Lovers and the Tower upright. In their mind, I don't know. I kind of think that they're going to leave her alone after this and say, forget it, it's over. I'm going to go find some other lover who will jump into my arms. Seven of Swords is sideways. They never fully get out of this. This is a character who just, for whatever reason, they just can't be honest with themselves. that they don't really want to give and grow. And she's astute enough now, especially in this year, to be able to recognize when someone is not really there to give and to grow. So let me put it this way. This is one of those stories where it is about someone returning to her. I do feel like this is definitely somebody from the past. But she's in a place this year where maybe that's why they're coming back now, because she's in a place where she can clearly see them and really say no thank you in a very honest way. She's able to advocate for her own best interest. And genuinely, she's not lying to herself in this and saying, well, I do still want them. I'm still going to pine for them. I wish that they would come back just so then I could, tell them no. But really, I secretly wish that they would come back and then pursue me. No, she really is not all about that. And I think that's why they're letting this go. This ex isn't going to keep returning, and they're not going to keep fighting for her. They're going to come to a conclusion that I don't know if they know that she says something to them that is truthful and is not really intended to be mean, even though that's their first thought about it. But the thing that they can't see is that they still are, they're not somebody who shares. They're somebody who needs people to put them on a pedestal, make them feel really special, make them feel like a hero. They're probably going to go for somebody who is nowhere close to being an empress or an emperor's energy. Whomever they shack up with next is someone who doesn't force them to look at any truths. It's somebody who's just going to play kind of like look, they're on a stage. They want a fantasy, and an empress cannot build an empire on a fantasy. If there are people that try to build empires on fantasy and they end up usually in jail at some point. There's countless people who've become like famous, and they've got all of these fabulous ideas, and all these investors are buying into these plans and ideas, and then it eventually it becomes known that, wow, they never had the product made that they claimed they did, and all that investment money was not for anything. That's not how an empress operates. An empress really has the product. She really owns the patent. She really makes the thing. It's a real thing. It really exists. But what's more, an empress usually puts their own name on it. She doesn't have to sell out to other people. She's got her own thing. This person, they're okay with the fantasy aspect. In fact, they'd rather have that. That basically, you know what I would say? This ex comes back to her. She gives them another bigger dose of reality, which they don't like. And then she maintains that dose of reality. And they think about it, and they're willing to concede a little piece of it, but they're not willing to look at the rest of it. And they choose fantasy over reality. They choose someone who can't ever be an empress, or isn't. I'll just say isn't an empress. Somebody who's probably going to make them happy, at least for a little while. But deep down, because that Seven of Swords is sideways, they know darn well that they're not choosing the empress. They know what the empress is. That's the one thing about, liars lying. They still know the truth. A lot of times liars don't lie because they don't know what's true. They lie because they don't want to deal with the reality. So the lie and the fantasy is more appealing. But an empress is like, I can't build a life on a lie, or I won't have the real success, the authentic success. I'll never get to the top of this mountain. I'll never own my own private island if it's based off of lies. And this empress is going to own her own island. That's what we have this year. It's a very different perspective, and it's a really powerful way to look at life and to be able to see the difference between her mentality of life versus this character, our Seven of Swords character. They want the fantasy. They flat out need the fantasy. They're not equipped to deal with life as it is. They want to be made to feel really special. They want a fantasy romance. They want things that are probably going to be short-lived, because you know what happens at the end of a play? The audience applauds, and then everybody goes home. And people they might remember, oh yeah, that was an awesome play that I saw once upon a time. But the audience doesn't live there and keep applauding. And if this is the moment that this Seven of Swords person needs to live in, the moment where they imagine all eyes are on us and it's like a scene from a movie. Movies always end after that beautiful last moment. You don't get to see the rest of the day-to-day, because the rest of the day-to-day for any characters in any play or any romance movie, it becomes you could say mundane, but it's really the little details, the stuff of life, the stuff that ideally love sustains and makes the rest of these things that we build in life really joyful. This character doesn't want to do the joyful aspect of really building and the mundane and the day-to-day stuff. They only want the moment where the audience applauds. So that's what they're going to go for, and they're probably going to consistently seek that emotional high. Definitely, this Empress is going to outpace them, and in the span of this 1 year, I feel like this year of the dragon, she's going to reach heights in her life and her career path and her quality of life that are going to outpace them by probably several hundred times over. They're going to keep looking for a moment on a little tiny stage. She's going to be at the top of her private island that she owns in a castle. It's it's because we're seeing the difference between somebody who puts real effort in and somebody who wants like an easy, sudden payout. Nine of Cups, Five of Wands. Also, here's the other thing. An Empress enjoys. She enjoys even the struggles. She enjoys what she's going to get to learn. She enjoys. This is somebody who probably sat down this year and wrote out a list of the things that they want to accomplish and has a very strong sense of how they're going to get there. And they're not saying, okay, these are my goals. It's going to be really hard. Who can I get to help me? She's like, oh man, I got all these goals. The world feels like my oyster. I can't wait to put things into action. I'm going to sweat, man. I'm going to be putting in, like my effort, my work, and I'm going to see these payouts. This is somebody who is excited over the mental exercise of reaching her goals. This is somebody who's excited about the physical exercise of reaching her goals. She's willing to sweat. I gotta say, that Empress is freaking sexy. Somebody who wants to sweat to get to their achievements. This could be a little bit of everything. That looks like she could have some kind of wishes and goals to learn some kind of martial art technique there as well, or some physical something or other, some plan for what she'd like to do for her own body, mind, or spirit, some kind of physical kind of I don't know if it's workouts or if it's a training program. What else does she have in mind for career? Let me just get any other little notes here. Girl of Discs, something to do possibly with high fashion. She could be somebody who's, let's just put it this way, she's going to have a very colorful life. Very colorful. This is design. This is, she could be into interior design, into fashion, into anything that adds light and color and pattern. It feels like artistry to me. And these are things that she's wanted to do for a while that she's coming back to, but it's the first time she's ever really put her energy into this. In a way, I want to say she may paint different landscapes. So again, maybe she winds up, one of her skill sets is to go out and actually freelance as an artist or an interior designer or decorator, something where I feel like she's going to have access to use her skills, his or hers. I'm sorry, I keep saying her just because we've been talking about an Empress, but it could be a masculine just as easily. But something where she gets to use her skills in a lot of different ways. Like if you're going to be designing different people's homes, you get to, okay, this person's is going to have a Moroccan theme. This person's going to have an Italian theme. She might be able to utilize all kinds of things and make different ideas and dreams in her mind come to life in a lot of different settings. We have a Four of Swords. This Four of Swords is also possibly about spiritual forms of healing, and in particular, some kind of, I feel like she may be planning a trip someplace where it's like a cultural heritage site. It could be somewhere in Africa. It could be somewhere in this kind of reminds me of Easter Island. There's statues that depict fertility. There's cultural and spiritual beliefs, but I think it has to do with a culture that she may or may not be from. But this is part of her goals and journeys for this year, is maybe to delve into some cultural anthropology, reach out. Maybe it is to follow her ancestry, but there's a lot of aspect on healing and possibly on learning another language, learning to read or write another language, or learning at least a phrase that is deeply meaningful. I could picture her like finding things this year that are super meaningful and like bringing home like an icon, a statue, something that is representational that has deep meaning for her after some kind of a trip or a pilgrimage of sorts. And then we have the strength card. And the strength card, I mean, this could be going back to talking a little bit about one of her goals this year being, like pursuing something that is a financial goal of hers, but it's to become the best in her field. This is someone who has so much vitality, someone who has so much. I don't know if this Empress has ever wanted to be the best, and it may just be like the personal best. I just want to do my best. I want to hit my personal goal. I want to run the mile the fastest I've ever run it. But she's definitely got goals. But this can also be trailblazing. Someone could be really into gardening also and want some huge, they've got this vision of, I want a sea of sunflowers. I want to plant like in a small space in my yard with like, 300 sunflowers. I just want something really bold. However she lives her life this year, everything is really bold. It's very much a go big or go home kind of a year. What an exciting one. I so enjoyed this one. All right, you guys, take care. I will see you in the next ones. We've got to get some caught up on some storylines caught up for the different today's topic videos, and then we'll jump into some of the zodiacs, okay? Thank you, everyone. It is so lovely to see you, and Happy New Year, everyone. All right, I'll see you guys again soon. Bye for now. Bye.